All right, welcome to Nitty Gritty. We're back. I'm sure people have missed my voice. How long has it been since I've been on it? A month?
At least, yeah.
I'm sorry, everyone.
Only one episode.
Okay, we're good then. I had knee surgery. Give me a break. Well, welcome back. It's nice to be back. And we're here with the Godfather and the Queen.
Is that
Everyone knows that you're the Godfather. So Susan Petersen, freshly picked, is the Godfather. I call you the Godfather all the time.
Mm-hmm, thank you.
That's it, right? You're
Yeah,
okay
I'll
with
take
that?
it.
I mean, Godmother just sounds like Cinderella, or it sounds like a fairy tale. It doesn't have the same
Yeah, it doesn't carry the same weight.
Thank you.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so I'll stick with Godfather.
Yes.
And then we have
The Queen.
the Queen.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll
Jess
take it
Toolson,
Yeah.
Mixhers.
Yes.
This is the third time you've been on, Susan.
Is that true?
Yeah,
Am I your favorite?
of course. You're the
the
boss.
only one to come on
Obviously.
3 times?
I think you've probably gotten us more guests than anybody too. So
Don't say
you
that
get
in front of
whatever
Anna.
you want.
Anna has.
Well, I just wanted to spark some
Yeah,
competition.
there we go.
So we can get more guests. Since we're not super great at it.
You guys
But
are
we
great
did
at
good
it.
this week.
Awesome.
We got 5 guests scheduled in like a week.
Wow.
We did?
Well, then, right? Isn't that
Sure.
5 total?
I don't know. I guess these guys count as 2.
Yeah. 2 and
Well,
1.
I mean, 5 episodes. Wow, Andrew.
Wow.
So contentious.
I'm
today.
happy to see you're feeling more comfortable than last time Jess was in here.
Yeah.
Can we get
Can you
off of
say
it?
that? Can you say the
Yeah,
word?
same.
Menstruation,
Say the-
period,
Look
heavy
at you.
flow, A day, B day, Shark Week,
Graduation.
hide behind the recliner.
Have you talked about a period cup?
Okay, hold on. Where is this going?
Menstruation
Is that
cup.
like a
Do you know what
period
it is?
funnel?
Do you
I don't
know
even.
what- do you
I've
know
seen
what
those.
it is?
I don't even know what those are.
Okay,
I don't
so
know if you really wanna
essentially
talk
you
about it.
like stick it up yourself and it catches the blood, and then you pull it out and empty it out into the toilet. Look at
Good Lord.
They just they're
I
sweating.
think Andrew might faint.
they're
I've been doing
sweating.
so good.
Yeah.
And then
I've
you
grown.
rinse it out in the sink.
Rinse it out
And
and
I'm-
reuse it.
Yeah.
I want to crawl under the table right
Actually,
now.
Very safe.
had graduated a lot, and now we brought
Yeah.
that up. And
yeah.
It's
Graduated
just like build muscle,
preschool.
man.
You got to break it
even
down.
nice.
It's got to. It's like
break
build
it
muscle.
Okay, so we'll work. It's something to
we'll
work on.
it.
Hey,
Yeah.
listen, we can't. We gotta man up because they got kind of screwed in this department. Women, like they deal with way harder things than we do. Right?
Yeah, but I'm
It's
trying
true.
to look you in the eye to see if you're being serious right now. Are you?
Are you
Okay.
kidding? I can pee wherever I want. I can go pee on a
Me
car in the backyard,
Too.
standing up where no one sees my wiener.
Well,
Well, nobody would really see it anyway.
I'm
But
so, where is
this
this
has gone
going?
off.
I'm just
course.
saying, like, I don't have to make babies. I don't have to be pregnant. I don't. Have
I
to
don't
give
feel
birth.
like any of it's a burden.
I don't think so.
Oh, I'm
either. I
just
think
saying
it might-
that-
Don't you feel like your favorite days of your whole life are giving birth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I feel
Just
bad
because it's
that
finally over, the pregnancy.
No, it's something so,
So,
empowering
yeah.
and
Right.
special and amazing.
yeah,
It's
and
still
then
hard.
even like during pregnancy, like
Yeah.
feeling life
yeah,
inside of you.
so incredible.
It's amazing.
What a great transition to talk about women in business.
So International Women's Day.
Yes.
I
This
can't
whole-
believe you thought I was lying about. I think that you guys have it harder. I've been saying for a long time that women are way stronger than men.
I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
Like mentally, emotionally.
Yeah. Last time you and Ashley got sick, were you sick longer?
No.
Were you a bigger baby about it?
man cold all day.
Yeah.
Totally.
What?
But
pisses
if you
off
slice
more?
my leg open, I'll be
Nothing.
like, I
Nothing
can
is
handle
worse than a man. Cold.
Nothing makes me angrier than a
Oh.
man cold.
No.
It's pretty bad.
Nothing.
I get so irate.
I could have
don't
the
know how
same
hard it
exact
is for us, okay?
symptoms. The
Ready to
exact
send him
same
to a
day.
hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I get up, I go to work.
I'd rather
I
do this by myself.
Yeah.
Go stay somewhere else.
Just
Sorry,
go.
Ryan and Christian.
Oh, man.
Chris
The good
knows.
thing
He's
is,
been
yes,
getting
I
over
was gonna
something for
say-
3 weeks.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Ryan knows. Like the second he's sick, he better like hide.
Yeah, just go to
I
your
just-
mom's.
yeah.
It is funny how a lot of dudes have pretty good pain threshold, right? But when
Well,
it comes to colds and
so-
like being sick, I don't know what it is, but it does. It just
I talked to my doctor about it, and he says men can handle more external pain,
Right.
like you could get hit in the face
That's
and
a-
like jump
totally.
up, but women can handle more internal pain
Right.
better. So it's just
Interesting.
different strengths.
See,
Yeah.
so it's science.
That also.
Possibly.
right. So you
I-
don't know what it's like, Susan,
To what?
to have a cold as a man.
Okay, but you don't know what it's like to bleed every month.
Exactly.
For 7
So
days.
let's just be sweet to each other.
Let's just
Okay.
support
I feel
each
like we
other.
should stand up and hug. Are we all okay?
So when Christian
We're gonna
rings the
all
bell
hold
from the
hands.
couch next
we're gonna
time.
hold hands in a circle.
I would shove a bell down his throat.
That YouTube video, the man cold, like Laura. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Man cold.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It is the greatest. Okay. Well, see, we're building bridges here.
To a good
We're off
start.
to
We're
a great
building
start. Is anyone still here listening?
Yeah, if you're still here, Jess and I have some fun things to share.
Yeah.
I can just see husbands and wives listening to this right now. Like, see? No, you don't understand.
And then the rest of the car ride is silent.
But we just talked about that means you're really
It's
good
like-
friends if
Are
you
you
don't have
mad?
to talk to each
Are
other.
you mad? I just think it's funny how every time you get sick.
I mean, dudes have to just get to the point now where we just admit it. Like, we don't handle being sick very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And I
okay.
feel like that is so nice in like
Yeah.
a relationship.
Yeah.
When there can just be that like
Right.
honesty of like, yeah, I'm the worst when I'm sick.
Yeah.
Like, okay, at least you know it.
But if someone breaks in, your husband jumps in front, takes a gunshot, and still keeps fighting
This went dark.
to
But
save
yes.
your family, you'll be like, you know what? Maybe he isn't such a pansy ass.
Listen, I'm Christian Petersen's biggest fan.
Who?
My husband.
Oh, your husband. I was like,
I
thought you
love
said
him.
Jordan Peterson for a second. I was like,
Christian Petersen.
Okay, yes.
He's
I know you are his biggest
incredible, but when he has a cold, he could like. It's just not. He knows it though. Yeah,
It's like dying. I think most of us get that.
yeah,
So totally normal.
totally normal.
Well, we talk a lot about women in business on this podcast. We've had a lot of amazing guests. And I think it's just time for an update. It was International Women's Day yesterday. You guys are both just always on the up, coming up. So I think it'd be kind of cool to get,
Well, and a lot's changed for both of you guys since
right?
Jess is October, right? 2020 since you were here last.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like your first I'm not going back to Europe time.
It was like the
You
first
had-
time I admitted that.
forgot
Yeah.
about that.
It was
Yeah.
like basketball season and you didn't know what to do.
And you had just one product line.
Yeah. One product,
Uh-huh.
only her time, I think at the time, or maybe like 2 others, maybe.
I thought Mixhers wasn't Mixhers out when we did that?
Yeah.
It was, but
we
there was
only
just
had
one.
her time and I think her power at the time.
Right.
But yeah, a lot's changed since 2020.
Your stuff has been in our home ever since.
That makes me so
There's
happy.
basically a whole drawer for it.
I love
It's
it.
funny.
A
It's down by the
dedicated
Ziploc
drawer.
bags.
Is it right next to the perk? Because that's where ours is.
It's actually right
There you
next to
go.
the perk.
We
the
love
perk
it.
is in the
That's-
cupboard up top.
Yeah.
Mixer's in the drawer.
Yep.
That's the
So-
most common duo. I feel like love it.
So since we're not allowed to talk about periods at home, like, are you on your period right now?
Mm-hmm.
I just leave the Mixer's drawer open.
Very accessible.
Just,
Very
just as like
accessible.
a little sign, like, is everything okay in here? Yeah, right. I would get in so much trouble. But no. So what's new?
What's new? 2021 was a fun year. It's been
Jess freaking. If anyone killed 2021, it was Jess Toolson.
Very
True
true.
about it.
you
Like-
know
Very
what?
true.
Crushed her goals. Crushed them.
You know what? I love that we're talking about International Women's Day and women in business because I feel like Susan and I are like, we are just ride or die. And we learned that in 2021 and we feel like we've been friends forever. And honestly, like 2021 was an incredible year. I feel so happy about how it went, but I for sure did not do it alone. And that's something I love to talk about is like, it was a lot. I crushed a lot of goals, personal goals, but I also needed a lot of support throughout the whole last year and still need support. And I feel very supported by awesome women in business and also men around.
Did
and
you see it coming? Like, so we talked in October 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have what it is now? Was that in your brain? Was that your vision that you were kind of
no, I
working
don't-
towards, or has it turned into something that you didn't even expect it to turn into?
I feel like I've had a large vision for what I dream of Mixhers becoming, but I didn't expect it to kind of be as, I don't know, like viral feeling in 2021. I feel like I saw quickly how much women were needing community and how much like that element built the brand. I saw quickly like the response to us making health easy and fun and approachable. So that's when we launched a ton of new products because women just liked that we made it way more like easy to understand and delicious. So I felt like it just moved a lot faster than I had planned. And I mean, we're still not where I'm like, oh, I'm done. But I think 2021, there was just a lot of like movement and momentum that just kept building on itself that I couldn't have planned for, to be honest.
What sparked it? Do you know? Was there like a moment where it just kind of like...
Yeah. The very beginning of Mixhers, to be honest, like getting women to open up and talk about their periods was like pulling teeth, because it was just, it felt, it just felt like,
Shut up.
Shut up. It was like, it was hard to get women to feel okay talking about periods on social media. And that took some time to like open things up, help women feel just comfortable by seeing other women starting to do it a little bit. And then once everyone saw like, oh, this is the time, and not because just Mixhers was like making that okay, I feel like there's been a movement for women to be able to talk about more like health issues that we face. And so I feel like Mixhers paired with a bunch of other brands that are excited to just let women be more vocal about things. We really saw the movement when women were willing to put their voices behind Mixhers, and especially about her time. And I like to call them like a core crew. There was like a core crew of women that like they were the first to really like use social media, hold up her time, say this has changed their lives. And then everyone
social
felt
media
okay.
Still like your core?
Yeah.
Like, is that kind of your core growth engine is still social?
Yeah, it is. And then I feel like what happened in 2022 is just her time specifically, like it built a reputation. It built like some street credibility with it actually working,
right,
and actually changing lives. And obviously, like, it's like what you need testimonials and women. I mean, I feel so fueled by what I do, because it's not like business and running a business and trying to grow a company is always like all fun and games at all. But I'm so motivated by women like just stopping me in Target, or stopping me, like a woman cried to me at a jazz game a couple weeks ago and just was like, this has changed my life, my daughter's life. And women just have needed something that works. And that's what specifically her time has done. And then women wanted us to provide more of their health products, because health can feel so overwhelming for women. I know I have these health frustrations, but I don't know where to start. And when you Google it, it's like, oh my word.
Oh, when you Google
anything.
It is. It's crazy.
Do you think that like knowing you weren't going back to Europe gave you permission to kind of double and triple down, knowing that you could actually build momentum and keep it?
Yeah.
Because we talked about that the first time. Like you would get something going and I was like, and I went back to Europe.
Yeah.
And then you'd get something going and I went back to Europe.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that was any sort of catalyst to 2021? Like knowing you were going to be here?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I would call Susan frequently when like this transition was really going on. And I'm like, okay, we're not going back to Europe, because there's honestly like that life we loved is no longer there. Like it's just not what it used to be. It's still not, which is just wild to think about. So I knew that we were going to be staying here, but like we were navigating so many transitions for my family. Like honestly, you will relate to this, like mourning like a previous life. Like we got really, and 2020 was the worst for everyone. I'm not saying like woe is us, but it was this total like overnight change of like no more basketball career, no more like stability that life did offer us. It was like that just got like ripped out from under us. And so it took us time to like really accept that we were moving into this new life and transitioning into this new life. And then I also really felt this pressure to like figure out for our family.
No choice, right?
Yeah. Like what on earth is next? We were supposed to be in Europe for like 3 to 5 more years. I mean, it's not
like someone has to make money in this house.
Yeah. So that was yes, someone. Yeah. So that's
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's when like honestly, like the pressure was on. I also felt momentum. I also felt like supported by other women in the community. Susan, like we've just had a lot of like heart to heart conversations about kind of the stress that has come along with Mixhers, to be honest. And just kind of how to step into these roles, how to communicate, you know, what this new life is looking like. And
something that's actually, sorry to jump in, but no one ever talks about it because it's not, it's really hard to grow fast, actually. And there's a lot of stress that comes along with it. And no one's handled it better than Jess has, I think. Like, it's been amazing to have a front row seat to watch her just crush it.
So let's make her feel uncomfortable. What about Jess? Like, what about her allows for that to happen, right? I mean, you are around business all the time.
Yeah.
You have tons of people coming to you. Why do you think Jess has been able to be so successful as quickly as she has been?
Well, I think I want to say this first. A lot of business is luck, and I think you'll even say that. Like, people who are successful, you kind of get lucky, but it's what you do with that opportunity, you know? And Jess is willing to do stuff no one else is willing to do.
Like what?
Like throw a 300 person dance party and talk to every single person there and make them feel loved, appreciated, seen, heard, whatever.
Yeah.
Plan a party to meet her husband.
Yeah, exactly. But, and not only that, then have like 4 other events that week and not kaput and not talk about herself and not complain about herself. It's always about the customer with Jess. It's always about the woman who's going through a problem. It's always outside of herself. The way she's built her team has been, I'm super inspired by Jess right now. I think like the way she's built her team has been amazing. The way she's grown her business has been amazing. But like if you want extraordinary results, you have to do extraordinary things. And I feel like Jess is a walking example of that.
It's awesome.
That's so nice of you.
And what goes around comes around. You are the nicest person.
Mm-hmm. You guys, you're all
We've said
so
that forever.
Nice.
You are the sweetest person ever. And to mix competitive and sweet, like I think that's a hard. No, that's a hard thing to do.
No.
Like Carrie Underwood seems nice, but we all know she isn't. Right?
Jenna knows the story.
Yeah. You'll understand more in the B-roll that Brent will release one day when I make a
B-roll.
But Jess, I want to know, like, as you were transitioning to full-time work, not stay-at-home mom, right? Like, how have you, like, managed those feelings of, oh, I'm going to go to 4 events this week at night, and I'm working all day? Like, that's my hardest. I told you guys before, like, I hate going places because I love just being at home.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey, we should go and do this. I'm like, yeah, I probably should, but I'm not. Like, I'm just not.
Unless it's the first 10 rows at the Jazz game, like, don't even call.
But like,
noted.
How have you done that though?
Yeah.
And like, and to Susan's point, how do you keep the energy? Because that is one thing, to Cam's point, like, you are always happy, and it seems like you always have, but it's genuine. It's not like you see a smile and then you turn the face like, oh my gosh, I freaking hate this. Right? Which a lot of people, they'll put on a face, but it's not real. It's not genuine.
Well, I for sure feel like I definitely do have times that I kaput. Like on weekends, I honestly, like Saturday, my cute family, I'm like, movie night, here we are again. Sundays, I'm like, I am so low key. So I for sure have to build in like time to recharge. And I feel like there is something good for women to hear that, especially because we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. It's like self-inflicted pressure to be like, I gotta always be on. I have to always be on my A game. I have so much to juggle, so much to do, and I'm just gonna like make sure I do it all perfectly. And so I feel like for me over this last year, I've really identified like I have to have time to recharge. I have to have alone time. I have to have like this recharging time because I am fueled by people. But if I don't also find that alone time to recharge, then I really can't I can't benefit others in those extroverted times if I haven't like left some time to recharge personally.
Yeah.
But when you talked about transitioning from being a stay-at-home mom to a full-time working mom, I think that there's something that is powerful to mention too, that the more women are out doing that and the more normal we can make it for other women to see, the less guilt can come along with it. And
it's not shaming them for doing something, right?
Yeah. Susan has been on the, we got to talk about this. Susan's been on the receiving end, just to be like completely honest, of calls where I'm like, I'm dropping the ball. Like my kids are noticing I'm not home. like Ryan and I, my husband, like we are all in on Mixhers. Like we have like this clear vision of like what I'm doing and why, and that it's not like I'm choosing Mixhers over family. It's like we have chosen Mixhers for our family, and like we have a clear understanding. But there is just something
you can't see that
about
too. Like, he is like your number one fan.
Yeah, he's the best.
Like we've talked a lot about that. Like when the husbands like they just become their wife's number one fan, right? Like I mean, Christian, same thing. Like he is so supportive of everything you're doing. It's so awesome.
Can I just say the line that he said one day here?
We love
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember he's like,
him.
look, I think I made some comment like, dude, like, get with the program or something like that. Like, get out there and do your thing. And he's like, look, man. I mean, he was so straight, but he's like, if I wasn't who I am, she wouldn't be who she is.
Yeah.
Like,
Chris is a cozy guy.
Yeah,
He likes
we
to be
love
home.
it. Yeah.
it was so great.
How much do we talk about it though? How we're like, it takes a real like humble man, a real man
Right.
to be
just
like,
scoot to the side.
yes.
I wanted to
their
ask
way.
about that. Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about the transition. I mean, obviously he's all in, but I mean, that still has to be kind of a hard.
There was a mourning of a past life for
Well,
sure.
he becomes like a professional athlete to not working,
Yeah.
right? Like that's
Well, and being kind of the provider to start, right?
He's
And then
I see
shifting
all the time
roles.
at carpool. He's running carpool or running the girls to school. He's putting in ponytails for gymnastics.
Oh yeah, he kills those ponytails.
But was it just like snap? He was fine with it. Did he have kind of a transition
No,
that was a little hard for
I
him?
mean, I'll be honest. There was for sure a transition period for both of us
Right.
to be like, well, "What are you doing? Well, what are you doing? I don't know what I'm doing, but what do you do?" Like, it was
Right.
there. It was hard
Stressful.
and also like
the division of tasks is so much. It's tricky.
Totally.
Because even though Chris is home, there's stuff I still like to do. And that I don't like the way he does it, but you just kind of have to let go of stuff.
Like the way he does the dishes.
No, I don't.
That's a big one at
It's
my
the
house.
laundry.
I
for
load the
me.
dishwasher.
Well, see, I still think I load the dishwasher way better than Ash, but she is just like, no. I'm like, I've done way more dishes. I own a restaurant.
I'll be honest.
And there's no way that's true,
I think Ryan
but-
does the dishes and the housekeeping like a million times better than I ever did. But I think for me, it's like stepping out of the
Will you say
home
that
and
one more
no,
time?
like literally, he
It is
crushes
the
it.
Incredible to
harder
hear.
job. Being
It-
at home is
oh.
the harder
See,
job.
I couldn't do it. I would literally go insane.
I think
I could
I honestly think
not because of
any
gender roles. Like, I
guy
don't care
could
about
do it.
any of that. It's just
if
like
your
I have to
family
love what
had
I'm doing.
an amazing opportunity that your wife
That's
had to go to
true.
work
Actually,
for,
You would.
where it would set you guys up in the near term and in the far term, you would do it.
Right. Just
I think
just
that
honey, buy me a ranch. That's what I'd say. Like then I
Sure.
can stay home and have
Honey,
a
buy
tractor
me
and
a
some
ranch.
horses.
the thing
Yeah.
is I don't know any man in my life that would not pull for their wife.
It's not
you
even,
know,
it's not that.
like I think, and that's what it comes down to is like at the end of the day, Jess and I have to go to work and we have to put in
for sure.
and it's not a balance thing. It's like, I know if I work late at night, I'm giving up time with my kids. And I know that if I decide to stay home, I'm giving up time where I could be networking. Right. And that's like, it's a calculated risk every time you do one or the other. And to have someone at home that's like, go, this is for our family. This is for our future. It's amazing.
It's an interesting thing. One of the parents is not going to be like, whether it's mom or dad, but it's interesting how over years it was like the mom is supposed to be home. Like,
yeah, whoever made
like
that up.
it's a weird, if you think about it, like it doesn't really, like
It's
somebody's not going to be home because somebody has to go out and provide and somebody has to stay home and take care of kids. But it is
they
weird
can
that
be-
it was
we can
always a
have
thing where it was
nannies.
supposed to be
There's
the
a
man.
million ways to skin that cat.
Well, no,
I think.
and I agree, but it's weird that traditionally, up until I would
I have
say
a
pretty
theory,
recently,
but it might be
was looked at
controversial.
as
No, yes. What is the theory?
I think that after World War II, when the women ran the nation, these men came home and they were like, where the F are our jobs? And that's before that was not part of our narrative. But I think that's when it was like a woman's place is in the home. Because they were trying to get the women out of the workforce so that the men that came home could have jobs.
Interesting.
That's my theory. And we've bought into it ever since.
There's a lot of stupid crap that we buy into.
Yeah.
That's a weird one.
I
made up.
cannot wait for the feedback on
Well,
that.
and to that
Well,
point,
it makes
though,
sense.
I think we've had this thought too that women are what provides nurturing in the home, and so like
That
women
stops after breastfeeding, though. Let's be
but
honest, right?
At the same time, it's like it's almost like we don't.
I'm sorry. I don't want people to think I'm joking about that. Like, but what I mean is, any parent can provide nurturing. Like, why is it that?
Well, you
like,
can
no,
nurture
you're
without
supposed
being
to be
home
here.
all
Like,
day.
And I think
Yes.
it's case by case basis. Sometimes I'm much better with the kids in a scenario, and sometimes Christian's
Totally.
much better with the kids in a scenario. And it honestly depends on whose patience has been tapped the most
that day. Yes. But I
That's a
think
good point.
like with being out of the home and like this transition I've especially made in the last year, like it's so helpful for me to see other women like Susan or good mentors I have that are like modeling this, like they're an incredible mother. I see Susan like so involved with her kids and her home life. But it's so helpful to see other women modeling this for me to be able to say, like, oh, no, this can work, because it's still not the norm. It's
Well, no.
still
Oh,
not.
for sure.
And I think something Susan taught
especially
me.
here in Utah.
Well, it's
Yes.
sad because like your first question is, so what do you do with the kids? But like they don't ever ask the dads when they're going
Yeah.
to work.
It's not-
Like
these
that
questions-
question never gets
Yeah.
asked. They're never like, so what do you do with the kids while you're at the
that's-
restaurant?
That's very sexist towards us, right? Like, we like to nurture too.
But when I have these like times, because for sure I like have these times where I'm like, gosh, I'm like, I really got to check in with my kids, or like
Yeah.
I really got to just like slow down. And I really do try to make it like a conscious thing of like finding those times. But I've learned, Susan taught me this, which was I was having for sure a couple months of just like total mom guilt. Like
wanted to ask
Mixhers.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Total mom guilt. Mixhers is like going so well, and I should be so excited. And then I just had this like sick to my stomach feeling about my kids, and just like not like, and so something I learned from Susan was that our kids need like 7 minutes of undivided attention
Every day.
every day. And I was thinking
Where'd that
of
come
it
from?
being
I heard it
7
in a
minutes.
study,
It's really
but and it
specific.
doesn't have to be like consecutive. It
Okay.
can be broken up into different.
What about husbands?
It doesn't. I mean, there's
Four?
like it depends.
but
Probably for you, 90 seconds. But
What are you talking about?
But I think we have in our minds that it's like if
can't
you're
meet
not
that him love.
I think we have in our minds as like as parents, I'm not just saying this is only mothers, but maybe like in our minds it's like it has to be like this mass amount of time dedication. Like
Or a
if
big
I'm not
thing.
there every single day for every single bit of carpool and right when they walk in the door for like 3 hours to get them snack. And I think that's amazing when that is what people can do. It's not what I can do right now.
No
but
one can do that.
Right.
Oh.
But it's in our minds that like, oh, but I should be doing that, which is just,
Well-
but if I can slow down at night and like look my kids in the eyes and like have those minutes, it's minutes of
minutes.
undivided attention to really like hear about their day, hear about what was tough, talk about the expectations of like what's coming for them tomorrow and how can I help them get ready for that mentally, just that bit of time. It's amazing what it does to your kids, like just having even it's not long.
No,
it's not long.
I used
and
to
you
have my kids like across the island when I'd make them breakfast, and just talk to one, and then talk to the other, and just look them in the eye, and
That's so good because we all need to put phones down, be present just for a couple of minutes. It goes a long way.
you can do it at dinner. You can do it.
You can do it anytime.
Our marriage counselor said that one of the biggest problems with marriage right now, and he's like, it's kind of a new thing over the last
Swinging,
20 years. No, he said that's healthy. But
Yes, things aren't going well. Let's add one more person to
Yeah.
this relationship.
Let's
make
throw our
this
keys into
even
the
more
bowl.
confusing.
Let's either swing or have a baby.
yeah. No, but he
That'll
says
solve.
that it's this parenting, like all of a sudden that we think that every minute of every day for our kids has to be filled with something. And especially with moms, like if they're bored, it's my job to entertain them. And you do, like you lose time for yourself, you lose time for your marriage. Like the little bastards can take care of themselves. Like it's it's like when I babysit, I always get in trouble for saying babysit because they're my own kids, but get over it, people. You know what I mean? Like, I am not like reading with this kid and then doing something with this kid. It's like, go outside. Like, I've got things to do.
I'm here to make
can
sure
figure
you don't
things
kill
out.
yourself.
Yes. And I think we kind of rob our kids of being self-sufficient, but we also rob ourselves of time. And you're just adding more time to feel guilty. Like, because I think it's a culture thing still where it is hard. Like, that was the question I was going to, you already answered it, but transitioning from full-time mom to full-time boss, right? Like, the mom guilt thing's a real thing. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that comes from culture, right? Especially around here.
It's also comes from time.
Well, and that's true too. You spend all the time with them.
No. It's like, if you want to make a mom cry, show her a picture of her baby.
Right.
Who's now like 10 or whatever.
Or her husband when he was skinny.
No. We're talking about mom stuff right now.
Yeah, we're talking moms.
And so you start to feel like, oh my gosh. And there are times I remember being like, Gus would say something really cute and I'd be like, I'm never going to forget this. And then like, I can't tell you what it was. Mm-hmm. And time is such a thief and it starts to feel like things are slipping. Mm-hmm. And it's more for me than for them. Like, I never want to forget 12-year-old Hattie. Like, I never want to forget like things that they do. But if I'm working all the time, I'm missing that, And so there is a trade-off. Yeah. That's where my mom guilt comes from.
Yeah. Well, and something that I've really, really tried to do with Mixhers, and it was like changing my narrative. First of all, guys, it takes someone for me. I need to phone a friend. So like literally, Susan is my phone a friend when I'm like, today I feel awful. Like, this is what I feel today. And I've changed my narrative with help from like, think about how powerful this is for my twin girls to see me.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Heck yeah.
Crushing it in the workspace and like building, like Susan mentioned, like I really do have an incredible team over at Mixhers and like building all these like women that are also chasing their goals, and they come and they visit me at the office and they talk to my team and they come to Mixhers events. And when I can have them involved, I love having them there. And then it's like, they're seeing something modeled different. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean that they're at home feeling like my mom doesn't love me because she's not here. They're like, my mom's out working. Awesome. And I try really, really hard to take time to tell my kids what I'm doing that day. Like today, I won't see them tonight. We have a fun thing we're doing for work, Susan and I. And I sat down this morning and I told them, I'm not going to see you after school. I'm going to be gone. This is what I'm doing. This is how excited I am about it. I get to bring together 32 other women.
Important. Like, and talk about, like, I'm excited about it. Like, I don't, like, to let them know that there's a good reason, as opposed to, I'm so sorry, I'm not going to just,
your kids love what you love.
Like, my mom's cool. She's going to a jazz game tonight, like in the suite. She's such a boss. Like,
go sports.
It's cool to like our kids brag about us, and
Jess
we don't even really know
knows about
it, right?
basketball. Andrew,
no one's
her
letting me
husband
talk.
played professional.
Brent, turn down their mics. No one's letting me talk.
Andrew, I'm the Go Sports, not Jess. Jess knows. You know.
I know.
You know all the rules. Well,
maybe not all.
It's called a foul.
Most.
But like, so it comes to something that I've personally worked on, and it's this idea of like balance, right? Everyone talks about work-life balance. And I think when we talk about it, we can envision those scales, right? And balance means there's equal weight on both sides. And so when people talk about work-life balance, I think our initial thought is like, equal time at work, equal time at home. And that's how we get that balance. And so for me, like, to your point about having to have people, like, it took insane amounts of business coaching to get through this principle, but just changing the word from balance to harmony and then finding where that is for you.
Love that.
Right. Yeah. So just changing that one word. And then my favorite book ever, The Go-Giver, it talks about 50-50, it talks about husband, wives are 50-50 in this. And he's like, that's a losing proposition because you're always keeping score. It's got to be 100-100. Now, that doesn't mean you're putting out maybe the same amount of tasks, but each person is in it at 100.
Showing up.
Right. And so, but if you're 50-50, then it's like, well, I did the dishes today, and I did this today, and I did that today, and I did that today.
Of gatekeeping,
right?
Honestly,
yeah,
is like
stop keeping score.
Unless you do this, then I'm not going to do that. Yeah.
I want you to want to do the dishes.
Me and my husband.
Everyone.
No.
Just kidding.
Shut up.
It's totally true. It was funny. I remember you talking about it the first time, Drew. Like somebody was like, yeah, work-life balance. You're like, that's not real.
It's not
It's
real.
not.
And it's totally true because it
It's
isn't
not real.
But if everyone's happy, if everyone's getting what they need,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter.
And there's
the
a time and a
hours.
season for everything.
For
Like,
sure.
as you're starting, it might be a lot of time at the office, right? There's going to be a time in a season where it'll pivot and it'll be different, right? And
But it's like, do you want me for an extra 30 minutes a day, or do you want to go to Hawaii for 2 weeks and 6 months?
Yeah.
Hawaii, Hawaii.
So, Jess, I have a question for you. Why have you gravitated towards Susan? I let Susan talk nice about you. I want to ask, like, what about Susan has been so, like, helpful in your journey in whether it's mindset, whether it's just a phone call? Because she does it for a lot of people, but I'd like to hear kind of why Susan.
I feel like with Susan, I think the very first time we sat down and I like asked for some of Susan's time, I had done. The number keeps coming to my head of like $13,000 in revenue for a month, and that like felt awesome.
How did you guys first connect?
Oh, I had my kids. I had all my kids wear mocks. Like I was obsessed with Susan. Our parents, like they've been in church together, the same ward. I'd come home in like the summer, come to the ward, see Susan. We knew of each other, but I didn't have a business.
Okay.
So like I always knew that Susan.
For your blog you were doing.
Yes. What was I doing?
It was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
I did that.
yeah.
That was so
You
fun.
know, you can't
Whenever
ever,
there's two women in here, you always like.
You can't ever be. I feel like in order to honor where you're at, you have to honor the path that got you there.
Absolutely.
I interviewed a ton of incredible women, and I realized like I have this burning desire to get to know like what are other women doing, and that was years ago. But I remember in 2020 I reached out to Susan and I just said like, hey, I know you've got a lot going on, can I have some of your time? Like I'd just love to sit with you and go over Mixhers. And this is when I was getting ready to transition and we were staying home full time from Europe. What I realized with Susan is that she was so quick to want to jump in to help me with no strings attached. Like there wasn't this immediate like expectation of then what I do for her. Like I don't really feel that I had anything to offer Susan, to be honest. And there was just this immediate desire to help me because she's invested in other women succeeding too. And she was so fast to open doors for me. And it wasn't like, should I like withhold this friendship until this point? Or like, has she really made it or whatever? It was like, I've put in all this work for the last 12 years to build these friendships and relationships and build up women in business. I want to help you get there faster. And so for me, I've really learned from Susan, like it's amazing to help other women succeed and be a part of it. Like it is so fulfilling. I feel like Susan does this literally for everyone where she's like,
No, and the reason I say is because it's going to be a compliment for you, and I'm going to speak for Susan right now because I know Susan pretty well.
yeah.
Her like BS radar it's like top of the line. Like if she helps you, it's because you're a good person.
Well,
You know what I mean?
Believes in you.
And she believes in you. Like there isn't a person in this room that has not been helped by the Godfather.
yeah. No, that's
And
true.
it's always, it's funny. I know you love compliments, but I'm kind of like, it's kind of like going up right now, but I'm like almost emotional.
I
I'm like,
know.
what's in this stuff?
I know.
No, but it's funny because there have been times where I actually feel more confident because she wants to help me.
Oh, no, I 100% agree. Or like being at an event and Susan giving you the introduction, I'm like, my confidence is like built so much by like knowing like she feels that I'm worth giving an introduction to. And it means the world, honestly.
Well, because you know that she'll just like, if you're not a good person, she'll be like, you're an asshole.
And she'll tell
Like she'll tell you. So it's like, that's what makes it even better, right?
Yeah.
It's a very authentic thing. And
Andrew,
so
your mom's calling.
I know. Sorry, Mom.
just handle the compliments, Susan. You're the Godfather.
No,
You're the Godfather for a reason.
And honestly, like, okay, another thing about Susan is, I'm going to say it. I feel like Susan wants to see me go further than she needs herself to go.
100%.
That is not how all relationships and friendships are. Susan wants to see, and maybe
I'm tired, Jess. I've been doing this for 12 years. But you have the young legs. Like, let's go.
She is excited to support me, and she wants and hopes for me to even like go further. You believe in me to where some women are like, not this is something we're changing, but they're like, I want to see you succeed to a point.
Sure.
And then that makes me uncomfortable.
Because if you're more successful, it's taking away my success, right?
Where I feel like Susan sees my success as like, this is so exciting for her to know, like, I've been a mentor to her. I want to see her go on further than we've seen other women do it. Not that I'm saying I necessarily will be able to do that, but
crush it.
That's what I feel, which isn't always, the way.
Well, and maybe I'll get in trouble for saying this, but I feel like it says even more about you, the fact that, because I feel like women can be kind of rough with each other.
I feel like it's I feel like it's everyone, honestly.
It is everyone. I think we're competitive, but
and I think that sometimes people look at other people's success as a detriment to their own.
What is
and
that
I don't
called
think
again?
it's unique.
Scarcity.
Yeah, I don't think it's unique to women. I think I've seen it across all genders.
Totally.
But
Mean Girls, have you ever seen it?
Assholes, have you ever heard of them?
Yeah. That's
Mean
not
Girls,
gender
I feel
specific.
like it's just like
I love Mean Girls. It's my favorite.
love it.
But
It's so funny.
a woman said to me, like, after I was on like a Q&A panel, and a woman came up to me after, and this meant so much. She was like, I just hope you know how much all of us are rooting for you, because the further you go, the more likely it is that we can succeed too.
Amen.
And like that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so true. Like, the further that women can each like help each other push further, the easier it is for someone to get started, to get past the first year, to get like, to just kind of skip some of the hardest phases, the further we can see each other go.
My goal for Utah is that it's known as a place where women do business. And women feel like, I want to move to Utah because that I know that if I move there, I can start a business. And it's going to take
it's more
everyone.
accepted here. It's more understood here.
I don't think it's just going to be girls. I think it's going to take a lot of guys' help. And I've said this for years, but that is my goal with everything I'm doing, is that my daughter can start a business here. Her daughter can start a business here. But it's just like an amazing place for women to do business.
See, I think that's really cool. I mean, I was talking about this the other day with somebody about our U.S. women's soccer team. Like, Ashley Hatch was playing, which was, she scored a goal her last game, which is awesome. That's Ashley Hatch right there. But
Go Ash.
It was cool because
Go,
like
girl.
the U.S. women have been
Do you
so
need some
dominant
Mixhers,
Email me.
We know her agent.
Yeah, love it.
The U.S. women have been so dominant for so long, but you have to give them a lot of credit because now that gap is really shrinking.
Yeah, they won their
and
lawsuit.
it's because well, I'm not talking about the pay gap. I'm talking about other countries finally looking at women's sports and saying like, okay, like we got to get it together. Like, we're dominant because we have been supportive of women's sports for much longer than other countries. But other countries see the U.S. women and go, okay, like maybe we got to put more money into women's sports.
The All Blacks, you guys are going to.
Yeah.
Your minds are going to be blown by how much I know about New Zealand rugby.
That's amazing.
Oh, she knows the name.
But don't you feel
I
like the
love All
All
Blacks.
Blacks have like changed rugby?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, they've made everyone want to be better. And I feel like Jess is doing that right now for female entrepreneurs. She's really the tip of the spear.
Yeah, you want to feel like, because I remember talking even just a few years ago, like it was all about it's a man's world, it's a man's world, it's a man's, and I guess maybe you still come up with some of those hurdles, but if you can make the state where it's like it doesn't matter, like if you're a woman that wants to be a founder here, like men and women are both going to be supportive of that.
Let's go.
And it may not be that way. Like, we want to be ahead of the curve here, right?
Yep.
I think that's really cool. I've never even thought about that. But I mean, Silicon Slopes, it's the whole deal. Like, we want to be a tech hub. Why not be? Like, we want to be a hub where women can come and be the
Female
boss.
Founders.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever hear like the way that we're talking right now? I don't know why I'm thinking this, but I think it's important also to make sure that women that want to be home feel okay too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like my grandma was real big on this. Her brand of feminism was, I don't care what you want to do, but I'm going to fight for your right to do it.
I love it.
And that's kind of how I feel. Like, whatever you want to stay home, you want to work, you want to leave your man,
Right.
like you want to stay with him, whatever it is.
Geez, Susan.
But I just
Go to
feel
therapy
like
first.
a girl, like you should have as many rights as you feel like you need. And I think we're getting there.
Yeah, I think so too. It's weird. Maybe it's just hard for me to think of, but I'm like, it is so strange to me that even exists in people's heads, that it's like that one gender would be better than the other at a certain
feel like
thing.
It's 2 steps or 1 step forward. Like I feel like for as a woman entrepreneur, I don't run into this as much anymore. I feel like everyone kisses my ass now, but
as they should.
No, but like everyone's nice to me now. But there were times
you're in yes woman status.
Yeah, possibly where I would have like really good meetings, and I'd have a day of really good meetings, and then you have a day where you go and people are just like, are you sure you know what you're doing?
Right.
And it's like, why? And not because of anything more than I'm a woman.
Yeah.
You really think that?
It's happened to
it
me
happens.
multiple
Wow.
times. Well,
it happens to
recently,
me
too.
weekly.
I'm not in a corporate world, like, and that's the thing. That's why I'm asking. Like, I don't.
Yeah, no, it happens constantly.
Wow.
And especially like, I didn't go to business school. You didn't go to business school. Like, we didn't come up in the entrepreneur world the way a lot of men do. We're not doing tech. Like, we're out here doing product. It's just it's different. And so not as much anymore, but I really felt like I'm going to prove myself, not to you. I don't actually give a shit if you ever change your mind about me, but my reputation precedes me. So I'm not having to put myself in this scenario anymore.
Well, and the right people, like, you never even feel those. Like, I feel like, so I'm grateful that I have a lot of men in my life, and I know this isn't everyone's experience, and I am sorry for that. I feel very grateful that I do feel like it shouldn't always feel like there. I can leave meetings where I'm like, they absolutely get what I do. They love what I'm doing. They want to see me succeed. And I don't feel any sort of like, they didn't take me serious at all. However, I do have those meetings too. Yeah. I just think that it takes a handful of men to really be like, man, she is killing it. I'm getting behind her. And that's enough for a woman to be like, this is awesome. People have my back. Yeah. And yeah.
That's really interesting, because it's like, if you're in business, you want to be successful, you want to make money. Like, who cares who comes up with the idea? You know what I mean? It's like, it's sad. It's like, maybe a threat. They feel threatened, maybe.
I have a baby face. And so, like, if I'd go into a meeting with
adorable.
A big client, like, I remember, I'll never forget.
So cute.
I just hired someone. He was older. He was, I think he was in his mid 50s. And he worked for me. Right. And we went to this meeting, and the client would only address that guy.
Yeah. That's called ageism.
You know, it's like, just
well, and that's I think that's exactly how we feel. Is it's like it's how we feel, and it's not like it just happens to us. That's why I feel like absolutely men have to go step into meetings and try to prove themselves too. So that's where I feel like it's not just like a woe is us
dick contest or dick measuring contest. Sorry, that's the technical term. I just wanted to.
Really?
Yeah, it's in the dictionary.
It feels like small. It feels like small dick energy. Whatever.
Well, that's what it is. Those guys. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't. That's called scarcity. Scarcity. What's it called?
Nice. That was it. That was good.
That was really good. Right?
You nailed it.
Oh my gosh. So Jess, what new products? I mean, since we came, you have a whole line of products.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about those. Cam's pulling them up.
Yeah. So Her Time Daily and Her Greens are our top sellers. They just crush it. I love it. Those are like our flagship products. Then we have like multivitamin, Her Smoothie, Her Nightly. We have, what we've tried to do is have all the supplements that women need from sun up to sundown. And we're taking a pause on doing so many product launches just to, take a deep breath for a second and stabilize. And it's a lot of SKUs. It's a lot of
it makes me sound like I'm talking about SKUs.
You're so smart.
Actually, Susan taught me SKUs.
No,
used it in the right sentence.
Thank you.
Too. Good job.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Wasatch High School. Suck it. Here we go.
Yeah. No, but in 2022, we're exploring some things like gummies and some different products, but we're just trying to really scale our existing products too.
What's been because you've had incredible success. Mm-hmm. Talk about a moment in the last year where you're like, oh my gosh, that's pretty cool. Like, has there either been a specific product launch, or you got into a type of business, or you hit it was a goal that you had set that you
I'm happy to tell you this. Less than 2% of female-owned businesses ever make it to $1 million of annual revenue.
Less than 2%?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So when Mixhers had our first $1 million month,
Woo!
I felt like
I just got the chill, like for real.
Yeah.
I just got the
Yeah,
chills.
she's a
Like that's
badass.
no. I honestly, and it's not even like I'm like, oh, I did it. I'm like, we are doing this. Like, we are going to change that from like less than 2%. Like, I want to be part of women.
I'm selling tickets to the front row if you guys want some, because it is the best thing
cool.
ever to just sit and watch Jess kill it.
no, that was like I knew that it was like an annual, $1 million annually. And for me to be like, we did this, my team, we did this, and we worked so hard in 2022, and we're still working so hard. But I just want it to be something that more women can do. And so I'm like, if I can do it, other women can do it too. And that was like a really, really cool month for us, honestly.
That's incredible.
If you don't mind me asking, where were you when you came in here last time? Like if
October
you had to
2020.
guess.
Honestly, it had to have been when we were probably doing $15,000 to $30,000 a month.
Holy crap.
And to that point,
See,
like,
coming
honestly,
on the Nitty Gritty Show is really important. No, I'm just kidding. Like, no,
It was
it's amazing.
that was
like,
the crossroads.
it's funny. Like, I kind of was getting emotional for a second because it's
proud of her.
you're such a good person, and it's so cool. So sorry. Oh, I do that in here once in a while, but
I wish I'm crying.
I can't cry.
That is
because
so
of my
nice.
Antidepressant.
That's so nice.
you're so sweet. Like,
No,
no,
That's
we
really
like
nice.
we joke around in here, but there are guests that leave a mark in here. Like we meet a lot of cool people, and male, female, doesn't matter. If you're a good person, like good things happen, and it's crazy that in a year and a half, and it's not just a year and a half, it's the last year and a half, which was a crazy year and a half that it did what it did. And it's just, I mean, so cool.
well, and to me, it's like, it's not all about the revenue by any means. However, it's like, I just
It is a
want women to
business.
feel like they're
Yeah.
they're coming and it is okay to be here to make money too. Like, our businesses don't have to be like, oh, cute, you have a product business, like mommies buy it. It's like, no, we're here to like make money, and we're players in business too. And so that to me is like, I mean, yes, we had a lot of luck in 2021. It's like what you do with the luck, but also it's like we were really gritty and like driven and like hungry.
Luck is just when
And-
preparation meets opportunity, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the foundation was there already, right? Like you were able to take it and run with it.
And you're willing to do the things that it required to use that,
Yeah.
right?
So what was it? Like what do you think it was people staying at home worried about health? Do you think it was people seeing more advertising because they're on their
the
phone?
lucky
Like
part?
I don't like the word lucky.
No,
Like,
was
I
there like
actually
a?
I mean,
an
there is
inflection
luck,
point?
but you know what I mean? Like what about the
I
last
think
year and
the
a half?
stars aligned, honestly. I think where the stars aligned for us was in COVID, like during that quarantine
Right.
COVID time, people were really struggling. They weren't getting connection. They weren't getting like interaction. And I mean, I felt that. And so
they
I
were
felt like
looking
there
for
was just
something.
this really, like, I've really tried to keep a focus of Mixhers on our community. Like, what is our purpose? What is the feeling that women are getting when they're buying from us? What is it like when they're getting an email from us or interacting with us on social media? Or what is the comment back, or what is the chat like when they're interacting with customer service?
Never
Like, there's
waste that
just
opportunity to connect with them.
yes. And so I think what happened was women, A, COVID, B, a lot of women are home with kids doing an incredible job raising kids, but they are lonely at
and they're
home.
going crazy 'cause
And-
kids aren't at school.
Yeah. And so Mixhers has an important element to the brand of connection and community and relating to women on topics that are hard to talk about, and they don't feel so alone.
Right.
And I think that was just what honestly like
That is
was a big
amazing.
part of it.
And that 2% statistics, that's crazy. Like how, I mean, that is such a, it's cool that in the year 2022, you can still be a pioneer at something, right? Like you
Yeah.
can still blaze a trail.
That's kind of cool.
And that's pretty awesome.
Anytime there's like a war a natural disaster, I think a lot of times our inclination is circle the wagons, pull it in, tighten it up.
Yeah.
But there's actually a lot of opportunity if you're willing to go out and look for it.
Yeah, most of the best businesses are built in recessions.
Yeah.
For that reason.
That's why I started 2009.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I will say, like, it was funny. I was looking at numbers for Bam Bams yesterday, and we had, I mean, catering's down, but we had our highest sale, I mean, not by a ton, but our highest sales ever, at least in restaurant, during 2021. I was like, I thought that was so weird.
I think it's people want to get out.
They want to get out. Like, food makes things a little bit better.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it is true. It's not like people just stop buying things. But, man, I never thought of that. That's crazy. I did not expect it. Like, when you said $1 million a year, I was like, yes. You're like, but then when we hit $1 million a month, I was like, that is so awesome.
It's been so fun, and I'm not done yet.
No,
I'm not done yet.
I would say. So, is the witch doctor still around?
Yeah, Cody Sanders, our holistic health
Oh
practitioner.
man, is it okay that I
Yeah,
call her
she
witch
loves
doctor?
it. Yeah.
That's what I call my mom. She's like the oil person.
She loves it. Yeah.
So I mean, what's next? Like products? Are you working on anything that you're allowed to talk about? Or
Yeah. Well, products, nothing new in the works. I mean, we'll start doing some other flavors and things of our
Right.
existing products, but actually in 2022, we have a goal of expanding into retail.
no,
Right
wait.
now we're 100% online, and so this year we really want to be in spaces where women are just in, shopping, walking, can grab and buy.
So is that the upside for you with retail? I mean, because if you're doing the revenue that you're doing, I can picture Shark Tank saying, "Why would you want to go
Retail.
into retail?" But is it accessibility? Is that
Yes, it's accessibility.
She's a consumable.
Yeah.
for sure? I mean, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I recognize, like, because we're a social media brand, like people call them like Instagram brands, and it's almost like, I don't know, it's almost like sometimes Instagram brands, it's like, oh, cute, like, is it, or whatever.
Right.
But
I get that.
for us, like, I recognize also not all women are on social media, and definitely not all women are following Mixhers. Like, that's, duh. And so there's thousands and thousands and thousands of women, like, rushing through a grocery store, grabbing something in Target, being like, oh, I have 20 minutes. I'm going to swing in and see if I find a new shirt I want. So, like, we need to be where just masses of women are, which is still retail.
100%. Like, so if you could pick, like, what's your target? Like, what do you?
Target.
No pun intended. By the way, I mean, we know
We're she's gonna kill it.
I have no doubt. Like, I mean, it's like, and you see those little crystal light things all over the place, and how many women grab those just for some energy, throw in your water? It's like, I can picture it in every Maverick, every 7-Eleven.
And they're really easy to put in water bottles.
They are, if you hold on to them, especially.
You guys are
Sorry,
the worst.
Cam and I both tried to mix it, and
Big fingers.
I
like,
only dropped the
Big
tip in.
with
Okay?
the tip in and my holding bell.
yes.
Susan.
I can't even look at you right now.
Susan and I are on the same wavelength all the time.
You're the worst.
They are really good. I mean, we are drinking them right now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really like a lot of grapefruit. This is grapefruit, you said?
It's
Yeah.
so
It's actually
good.
really good.
I can't have them anymore.
I know.
So,
Sorry.
are you ever going to do something for, like, just do man cold? That would be hilarious.
That would be a top
for-
seller.
You should do it
Yeah.
for.
Because that's technically for women, right?
Yeah.
Like, give
Yeah,
this
it'd
to
be
your
for
big
women.
Yeah.
candy-ass
Yeah.
husband when he gets a cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is fun to see how many men like sneak their women's product though.
Someone
Oh, for
messaged
sure.
me on Instagram the other day, and he said he steals his wife's stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna
Yeah.
send it over to you because I'm like, we need to get you your own box.
Yes,
You don't have to
absolutely.
share with
Send
your
it my
wife
way.
anymore.
Yeah.
Is there any upside to talking about how this could benefit a dude? Like some of these things?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, we'll do it with some time. We'll do Mix His. And then what what I would like to do though with a men's line is, like, Mixhers has been formulated for women and like women's health issues, or honestly like insecurities, things we can't just really talk about. Men have those things too. Like, your wives know, like, you struggle, like,
Erectile dysfunction.
you said it.
Well, I'm just
Or-
saying, like,
yeah.
I just, the first
Or,
thing
like-
that popped into my
Or,
head.
Or like
The
when
first thing that popped in my head, like, that's something dudes aren't going to talk
Yeah.
about, right?
Yeah.
Like,
No, but women, like the women in your home are the first to know about like men's insecurities, like whether it's receding hairlines or like I'm getting a dad bod or things like that, that men, they have their insecurities, but you're not necessarily always talking to your buddies about it. So we would want to do Mix His, but have it be products for men that wives know or partners know, like these are their insecurities and they buy it for them.
That's cool.
The actual purchasing power, by and large, in the United States is ran by women.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they're the decision makers. They pull the financial decisions.
They're the
Yeah.
alphas.
Yeah.
They are.
That's what an alpha just told me. She said I'm an omega.
Omega.
Yeah.
Omega.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Yeah, I wrote it down in my hand.
Cute.
So, freshly picked. What's going on with you?
What's
I love the hat, by the way. That hat is
Thank
rad.
you.
amazing.
Thank you. So in 2021, I actually had a nervous breakdown. And did you know that, Cam?
No.
You look shocked.
Did you really?
Yeah. In August.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
And had to take like a huge step back from everything for the like last quarter of the year and just focus on healing and getting better and my mental health. And so Freshly Picked's doing awesome. I've appointed my CFO to president, so almost everyone reports into him, and I'm focusing on special teams.
Look at you using sports terms. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so that's what I've been up to.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, how much are you there now?
I'm back to working like every day again, but I took like 4 months off. Didn't work at all.
Do you mind if I were you just getting two like full time again, like just two?
It's so wild.
Because it's such a big company now. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm sure it's hard for you.
I'm so jealous
you're
that she could like step back and like have people to do it.
amazing.
I'm like,
It was incredible, actually.
You just need ADHD because I just do it. Like
So-
for me, it's like I'm not going to work today. Hope everything's good. But everyone's like, man, it's so cool that you've trained people so you can really step back. I'm like, yes, thank you, thank you. I've really worked hard at it.
I don't know what happened actually. One day I was fine and I was like out for a walk. I was actually going to go see my therapist. I was going to see my therapist. I'm like, I don't really even have anything to talk about. Everything's going really well.
Interesting.
And then the next day, like I couldn't leave my house. I couldn't drive. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Like my mental health just took a nosedive. And looking back now, like I can kind of see warning signs, but they weren't apparent to me at the time.
So were you kind of off social media?
That's
so funny.
I deleted social media.
Because do you remember I messaged you like a month ago or something like, I miss you. And it's because like your social media popped up and you know how Instagram, like
Yeah.
I just assume that,
Yeah. Yeah.
because usually I always see your stuff
Yeah.
because like you and I are
Yeah.
buddies, but I never realized that that's why I didn't see you. Because when
Yeah.
I saw that post, it was a sneaker post, which I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen one of these forever.
Yeah.
I'm like, I miss you, but I didn't even realize that.
Well, I couldn't even, Christian was amazing, but I couldn't even reach out to anyone. Like, I think we talked not very often.
I'd call you like once a week.
Yeah. And you were okay with me not answering the phone a lot of the
Absolutely.
time. Like,
Yeah.
Good friend right there. I
I
wish I
just-
had more friends like that.
that are okay with you not answering the phone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone hates
We
me
need
for my
those
phone
friends.
skills. I just hate the phone.
It is actually so nice that I had a lot of friends who would reach out and were okay with me not replying, and it was so helpful because I couldn't even put word to like what was going
sure.
on.
Well, and it's like draining to talk to people too when you're not
Yeah.
like if that's not what you're needing.
Well, I love that you talk about it. Thank
Yeah.
you. Like a lot of people, like it's good to talk about therapy. It's good to talk about mental health. Like even your joke about I can't cry because my antidepressants.
I can't right now.
It's hilarious, but it's important because it's one of those shame things, right? And
Yeah.
in our culture, some of that stuff is still taboo, and it's just silliness.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to get on an antidepressant because I grew up feeling like it was kind of a last resort and that
Right.
it was a sign of weakness. So when my doctor was like, hey, we're going to put you on it, I'm like, let me just see if I can muscle through this, you know?
It's crazy.
But if I had been diagnosed with like diabetes and they're like, hey, you need to go on insulin, and I was like, let me see if I can muscle through the diabetes.
Not
Everyone would be like,
happening.
you're an idiot. But with
Right.
the SSRI, people are like, yeah, see if you don't need it. But what I found when I actually got on it and it started to work, I'm like, why didn't I do this 10 years ago?
ADHD is this is the exact same problem.
Yeah.
There's just a stigma like it's not a biological disorder. It is like, and with medicine, you can now start to do the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of like making it
Yeah,
work how you want.
I couldn't even do anything until I'd been on the medicine for 6 weeks.
That's
Well,
so
and
interesting.
we talked about this a bit because we're very close, and we've talked about how helpful it is for Susan to talk about going through this, because she is seen as like so powerful and so successful because she is, and it's freeing for women to realize like, I should not feel terrible that I am struggling, or like I shouldn't feel like I'm a failure because I literally can't show up for work today. Like, it's freeing for women to know, and like it's really helpful for women to know that like some of the most powerful women can also struggle, and yeah, you're back.
Well, and to your point, like the way you got back was stepping away, right? Like that's how it works. Sometimes you just have to step away and give yourself permission and get rid of all of the shame and the judgment that
the
comes
shame
along
thing's
with
a
it,
huge
right?
part
The
of
shame
it.
was hard.
You know,
Yeah.
like
But then once the SSRI started working, I was like, okay, I feel like I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I started working with a physician on my diet, and that's been super helpful. And then my therapist, who I hate, but I'll never fire because he actually like is one of the people that pushes me.
So you're not supposed to really like your therapist. I've learned.
I
Like you want
know.
somebody that challenges you.
Yes.
I got mad at mine the other. I stopped talking. I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I can't say the right thing. Like, I'll just look out the window. I just was like,
If you're not
done.
being challenged, I'm not paying you, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally right.
Yeah. So I've just taken a huge step back, and it's been so helpful.
So cool. And see, it's funny when people talk about therapy or medicine. It's like, do you drive a car? Well, yeah. I'm like, well, why don't you use a wagon and a horse? It's like, well, people have been broken forever.
Right.
It's just we're to a place now where we've got the technology to help it or fix it. Like, use it.
You don't have to suffer.
You don't like, and back then they didn't live with what we had going on. There's just so much going on. So people with depression, people with ADHD, people with bipolar, like everything is amplified.
Right.
And it can just be, it's so easy to just want to like shut down and go in a dark room. But if there's something that you can take to just even that stuff out,
Right.
like there's nothing wrong with you having that, whatever issue you have, because everyone has
probably
it.
always take it. A lot of people are like, when are you going to get off it? And why would I? I feel great on it. It makes me, everything's manageable now.
See, that's the problem with the whole like drug culture, right? It's drugs are still viewed as like all drugs are bad. And it's so sad because we've got to change the meaning of what drugs are. A lot of it's because of the stupid pharmaceutical companies advertise. We're the only country in the world where that's allowed.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's not about a drug that you take to like get better. It's just more of, it's no different than a supplement, right? It's no different. Like all of our bodies need different things. All of our brains need different things. So it's like, you got to keep air in your tires.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, and if I had a heart condition, I was like, I'm going to try to go off my heart medication. It's like, really, we need to look at mental illness as an illness.
Right.
Yeah. And the medicine, the diets, the routines, everything to help us get better.
Right. God gave us a way to treat it too. Like, it's funny that people don't look at drugs as like a blessing. Because a lot of times it is. Like, if you're tired, cocaine, like, it can really wake you up.
Better,
I'm just kidding. I had to make that funny for a second. I'm sorry, I was getting too deep. But no,
Cam got a little uncomfortable. Cocaine!
I mean, it is totally true. Like, you have to be okay with, like, you only get one body, one brain. And if it's got a little bit of I don't even like calling it a weakness. I don't even like calling it disorder. It's just,
I'm okay
there's some
with
wires
it.
that are different,
No, and I'm okay with it. I think for me, it was years and years and years of just muscling through the stress and not giving myself adequate time to rest. And that has resulted in this.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what's so funny. Like, sorry, I've just been researching, like, I love studying successful people, and the top, like, professional athletes, their number one skill they've learned is how to recover.
Yeah. So
they say it's not how to perform.
Yeah.
It's how to recover.
Did you see
and they're the
Corbin's
best at
story
recovery.
yesterday?
Yep.
Yeah,
What did he say? He said, I don't believe in overtraining. I believe in under recovering.
Yeah.
That
It's the same
Bronson
thing.
and Corbin talked about that when they were in here. They're like, we've become professional like, or pros at recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Jess and I are too. Like she was talking about her weekend. My weekend's sacred.
Yeah.
Like I'm not, even Jess, like we're not trying to hang out with each other on the weekend.
Yeah.
Like maybe there's a Sunday afternoon we might need
Maybe
a walk.
we're going to walk.
Yeah, a walk.
Do you guys live near each other?
Yeah.
Okay.
But if I consider a successful Saturday one that I spent in bed.
Yes.
That for me is a successful Saturday. Not like that.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I mean, 90 seconds.
You started
and
it with
then
the
we
tip
go back
thing.
to the rest of the time.
That's why you said
The
90
other
seconds. I
22
get it now.
hours.
I get it.
Get there faster.
I feel like if I'm taking care of myself, if I'm putting in the time to like make my home life better, whatever it is, like I just need that time. So I'm not going to lunch on the weekend. I'm not doing anything.
Well, and don't you think that some of that like hustle culture has thankfully become like kind of a thing of like,
The past.
no, like, yeah, like
Yes.
I think we now are realizing and like respecting people that do take time to rest. Like it used to be like, oh, that's lazy. You sleep in till 9. That's lazy. Kind of those things, which thankfully now I feel like there's been a huge transition of people are really smart for finding time to rest, for prioritizing sleep, for prioritizing a 30-minute walk, like things like that. I think are seen as like really great attributes now, but I think that's been a change.
Well, I think the other thing is like delegating and asking for help and leaning on staff. And because I think there is this kind of thing when you start a business, right, where it's like no one cares as much as me. And there is truth to that. No one does care as much as you, but people want to help you, and people are very smart and they can do it. So it's like a part of it is just learning to let go. And like,
I'm so grateful for my team.
For sure.
I was super upfront with everyone and told them I was struggling mentally, and they just really were incredible and so awesome. And I love now too, where Freshly Pick's become a culture of like, we honor mental health. And so if people are feeling overwhelmed or there's something going on, we want to be a place where you can come and we're going to support you in that journey.
see, there would be a gender difference. You imagine just like walking into a room full of dudes at work. It's like, guys, I'm struggling with mental health. It's like, I'm going to take his job right now. Big pansy. Like women are just like, what can we do? What can we do? And that, I mean, that's an amazing thing. Like to have people rally around you like that. And yeah, teams don't get enough credit. Like this place would have been closed years ago if it wasn't for the core employees that I have here.
Yeah.
And so it's such an important thing. So what is your staff looking like now, Jet? Like I should have asked that too.
Badass.
Like it's probably big now, right? I mean, how many people did you have last time you were working here?
Probably one employee.
Right?
Yeah.
See, that's
Yeah, I
something we
think
don't.
one. I think one
Like
employee.
creating jobs is such a rewarding. Like I don't think we talk about that enough. Like
That's part of the, that's like
so
the
cool.
best part.
Yeah, creating jobs and also like creating a healthy work environment
Right.
to me is it's like so fun to have that be something I am able to see and feel like I can walk into our workspace and be like, women are truly enjoying themselves here. And I love that. We have a team of 18 now. Not all are,
awesome.
not all are in office full time. We have a great customer service team that works from home. We love that. We modeled our customer service teams off of Freshly Picked. So it's so fun to have like these awesome
Mom
That's so
moms. Mom
cool.
squad. Yeah.
Yep. It's the best because you give stay-at-home moms a
A job.
for sure.
And they actually are unbelievable. They know more about the business than anyone.
Yes, being on customer service, I'm like you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, and it gives them. This might be a weird. Hopefully, I say this right, but I feel like you really can lose your identity as a mom, like as a stay-at-home mom,
I think
because
any
it's just
stay-at-home
the same.
parent,
It's
you
the
can.
same thing
Yeah.
over and over. Like, I bet that feels so good just to get out and
Our
have
mom
some
squad is
purpose
the best.
other than
have
being a
some-
mom.
Have some like
Community.
cash come in and
Yeah.
have some employees. Like I had like our customer service team, they're in daily interaction with our entire
Right.
team. So they have like
New friends.
these interactions and friends, and we're supportive of their kids and excited about kids' birthdays and like things like that.
Well, they're
So-
probably just feeling like badasses too.
Yeah.
Like that's so cool to
Yeah.
just go in and
We modeled it after Chatbook, so I can't even take that. Nate
Yeah,
from
they're amazing
Chatbook
too.
started.
Yeah.
Nate and Vanessa started that, and I love the empower. Like as a stay-at-home mom, when I was a stay-at-home mom with little babies, I would have loved that kind of a job. Customer service is the hardest job, but it's just so awesome to be part of a team.
Well, in our customer service team, like, yeah, for sure, they're like helping people. Where's my order? Or like, can I switch this flavor? Like, it's not all the good stuff, but like, they also love being on the receiving end. Like, they are the first contact when people are like, this has changed my life. Like what you guys are doing. And they're the first
awesome.
person to read through that. So like to them, I'm like, you guys are such champs for getting through all this. And they're like, I love it. I'm
You
the
have
first
happy
person to
customers.
read
Yeah.
happy customer stuff. And so it's like, it's really fulfilling for
It
them.
makes you really believe in what you're doing too, right?
Yeah.
Do you keep the thermostat at about 82, 83?
Oh my word.
Yes.
It's so hilarious.
Yeah.
I used to always complain about that. I'd walk in to do swatch up parties at Caesars, like, like space heaters under every desk.
We have like desk blankets, desk slippers.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
It's like, it's not that we won't
run
hire men. They just don't
cold.
want to work there. It's too hot.
Yeah, exactly.
Our
They can't stand the
our
heat.
conference room gets so warm. We're all like in the conference room.
Having a little happy nappy.
Yeah. Yep.
That's amazing. Well, what a great story. That's I can't wait to have you guys back next year, and we'll be at $5 million a month.
Yeah.
An own target.
I'll be trying.
20.
Oh my gosh. I need to open more restaurants.
It's not a competition.
No, well, obviously it's not for me. Like everyone's like, when are you gonna open another one? I'm like, I don't want to.
We're good.
But I'm starting to get to the point where I want it. Like that's the thing. Like you just gotta do what you can do. But we're so happy for you guys. So cool.
Thanks
and
for
I love
having
how
us.
tight
And
you guys are.
I have to tell you guys, you were the first people to have me on a podcast.
Really?
Seriously?
Booyah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys were my first ever podcast.
We'll take
That
credit
is
for all
so
of
cool.
Mixhers.
That is
Yeah, there you
crazy.
go.
That, like a year and a half,
Yeah.
everything just like changed.
Thanks for
Right?
having me.
It's
Thanks for taking a
amazing.
chance on me.
yeah.
That was my first time ever like sharing my story and the starting of Mixhers and my life. So
That's insane to see how far you've come in such a short
right?
amount of time. I mean, now you're in front of massive groups and presenting business ideas. I mean, that's pretty rad.
And
That's pretty cool.
Godfather, the family tree. I want to build a Godfather family tree of business owners. Like, I mean, the
like the correct-
legacy that you're leaving here is pretty cool.
yeah.
It's very nice.
Like
is
there
cool.
are so many businesses, and it's not just women, like men and women. Like you are a go-to for so many people, and
Oh,
it's so cool to have those. It'll be really interesting because you look back in 20, 30 years and how many businesses like you've been able to help. And
Just wait till you hear what Susan does with this business called Path U.
oh, it's going to be huge.
Gonna
She's on
kill
my
it.
board. It's my personal board. It's just my company for me. She's who I always call to help.
I think we all do.
We all do. So
Well, thanks, guys, so much.
Thanks
Thanks for having us.